actually write code? Okay. How many of you are designers? How many of you came to their free pizza? How many of you make it for this? Gotcha. Yeah, so both Maria did a brief introduction of me. I've actually done quite a bit in my career. Most of it's been working with a lot of developers and architects worldwide. I started out as a local CTO for a company called Global Technologies, which was publicly traded. That got purchased by a bigger company, and I started another company, went to work. They got bought out by Adobe. Adobe ended up having me slide in to work in the United Nations, so I was lent as an enterprise architect to work with the United Nations CFAC committee. We developed something called the CFAC Business SOA architecture, which is used by the World Bank, World Customs Organizations. And back in the 90s, I was involved with something called EBXML, and later went on to the W3C to co-author the web services architecture. And post that, went on to the OASIS standards body to work on the SOA reference model technical committee, as Maria mentioned. For all of this, so I like to really keep my hands dirty and work with the code. And that's something that's given me a real valuable insight into where the industry's been and where a lot of people are kind of thinking it's going. And what I want to do is share with you some of the things that perspectives that people have shared with me before we get into it for mobile. So, Adobe's marketing kind of says, there's this great new brave world out there, and we've been designing for screens like this, like my laptop, this particular screen here, for the better part of 20 years. And this has been a fairly consistent thing. So things have stabilized in that area up until about 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, there was a kind of a trend from people just putting content out, doing content and applications. So some people call it RIAs, rich clients, the App Store, that's stuff that you see at iPhone, iTunes. All of this kind of led to this move away from just content. It's now content plus functionality, and it has to run on the client. And initially, this looked like a pretty big challenge. Now, you think, okay, we've got this, and then we kind of got blindsided. We've got these little devices here, the smartphones. And I mean, can you imagine if they had this in James Bond, Dr. No? It's a phone, it's a complete encyclopedia of all the world's facts, it's a map, it's a GPS, it can record things, it's a spy camera, probably better resolution than it had in the 60s. Everyone would have called bullshit, because basically nobody would have believed this exists, yet any one of you can go out and buy one of these today. And for Adobe, this kind of, this trend started really blindsiding us. And a lot of our customers and our big partners said, well, we're jumping on this. This is the new internet, this is what we want to develop for. And this required a whole new way of thinking from a development and architecture standpoint especially. So this is a trend now to do creation of the content, creation of the functionality, and now optimization for these devices. And this is a big challenge. Take, for instance, an email client. If you were to write an email client, you have your email server over here. You put the email client, it would probably just pull and see if there's an email and pull it back and put it on the client. That architecture is wonderful if you're on a desktop. You cannot use that same architecture on mobile. In fact, one would argue until the person's actually ready to read the email on the mobile device, you probably shouldn't do any computations, because you're just draining the battery, wasting the CPU cycles, adding bandwidth to the bill every month. Now this was really, kind of easy to say, okay, well we can plan for this, and this looks so we got this over here and this over here. Right in the middle came out the tablets, so then the iPad, the Galaxy, Samsung tab kind of came out in the middle. And we found that, optimizing components for this didn't work in the middle, and it didn't kind of feel right, and it's kind of in between these two. And then there was another kind of new wave that's come out now, which is internet-enabled TV. So now on the big side of the desktop, we have these big cinematic displays that are like, 3,800 pixels by 2,580 pixels. And developing content, applications, and functionality for those is quite different. In fact, if you design for this one and try to scale it up, if the screen's this big, it's going to look like a little postage stamp over here. Again, all the input devices are different too. And the TV, you have a remote control, and this you've got pan, zoom, twist, and swipe gestures. So this trend has been to kind of move from this one device, just writing for one thing, to writing for many screens. And that's what I'm going to show you a little bit of Now it's kind of a policy that you can use all the code that you've done for this. If you write something for one device, it will just work seamlessly across everything else. Our marketing department might say this is possible, but I'll tell you right now, as a developer, you're going to want to optimize because things aren't going to work the same. And I'll show you some concrete examples. Before we go into this, I'm going to overload your brains with a bunch of terms. So these are names that you need to know to kind of understand the rest of the talk. Flash, when people say Flash, they often think of Swift, right, as the shockwave file. And it's not quite the same. Flash is really a complete platform. There's servers, there's development tools, there's development frameworks, there's protocols like RTMP, as well as file formats like AMF and Swift. Swift is the file format used by the Flash platform natively. AMF is also used with, this is a lightweight binary format that goes back in place. And I've got a title on there, the Flash player. So this is the Flash player. This hopefully marketing will just change the name next week. The Flash player is the runtime browser plugin. Air 2.0 or Air 2.5 is the Adobe integrated runtime, and this is basically a way of developing applications that run outside of the browser. So you can either run inside the Flash player inside a browser, or you can run outside. Some people say, you know, Flash is enabled on this device, which it is. You can go browse to a website, and if it's got Flash content on it, like the movie will show, and it'll work fine. You can also build Air applications and put them on here. We decided to change the name of the development tool to Flash Builder 4 from Flex Builder 3, and that's part of our master plan to confuse all of our customers and developers. After we did that, we developed the Flex 4 framework, which is the newest iteration. And then we have packagers, which I think some of you were talking about earlier. So I'm not here to sell you anything. I work for Adobe as a senior technical evangelist, but I'm also an open source guy. A lot of this stuff is open source. Flash Builder uses the Flex framework. Flash Builder 4 is a commercial product. We're going to be spending a lot of time on that today, but you don't have to use it. You can get the free SDK. You can write stuff on the command line. You can use Emacs file, whatever you want. You can Pico and compile it on the line command. So how it works, how many of you have used Flex before? Wow, newbies. Okay, I'm going to show you this first on here, and then we'll get right into it. So how it works, there's a component library. The component library, here labeled Flex Class Library, can be programmed against one of two languages. And the two languages, one is MXML, and the second one is ActionScript. One is a scripting language, and one is declarative. And the declarative language works much like the standard languages, but the statements are different. So when you see something up here like MX panel, MX is a metadata qualifier, it's a namespace qualifier, which tells you which version of the Flex SDK or the Flex framework it's out of. It then says, okay, panel, it's the same as in Java saying, you know, my panel, my panel equals new panel, calling up the constructor method and maybe feeding it an argument passive when you're constructing it. Once you've created it, you would then say, you see here it's written in the XML attribute layout equals vertical. That would be the same as saying, my panel dot set layout equals vertical in Java. The industry that uses script tags is the ActionScript, and it's a fairly encapsulated language. It's object-oriented. It is very strongly typed, and it, as well as the MXML, reference the same Flex class library. So what happens is you write your application. It can compile into a Swift or as an AIR file, or now as an APK file, which is a data format for Android, and then you deploy it. Once it's deployed, either the Air runtime or the Flash player has access to a lot of enterprise messaging, a lot of service capabilities, as well as Air has some extended capabilities on the mobile device as well. I'm just going to build a simple application here just to kind of guide you through it. So we'll set up a new Flex project, give it a random